All right, in the interest of time, why don't we go ahead and get started? Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Chris Whitney. I am an alumna of the University of Scranton and the director of the Center for Career Development. I'm joined with my colleague here. She'll introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lori Moran. I'm the Assistant Director in the Center for Career Development. I'm also an alumna of the university, receiving my bachelor's and my master's from Scranton. So, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
She always says that because she beats me. She has 2 degrees. She has 2 degrees from the University of Scranton. I only have one, so she wins. But tonight this is number 4 in the series, or 5 in our alumni workshop series. And what we're going to spend some time talking about tonight is just some tips for the job search. And then, as always, we want to say that these are general tips. These are general things that we're going to help to maybe kind of move you along on the right path. But whatever your individual unique circumstances are, feel free to reach out to us and make an appointment over Zoom or over the phone, and we can talk about your own unique individual circumstances as you kind of move through your job search.
So, just some quick tips as we begin to talk about this process. In terms of focusing your job search, it's really important, to kind of do a little bit every day as opposed to just waiting for a Saturday to spend 8 hours doing your job search. You really want to start the process, continue to look a little bit every day, apply for jobs every day. We spoke last month, I guess, about your resume and cover letters and getting those into shape. So making sure that when you are applying for jobs that you're looking at those job descriptions, looking at the qualifications that the employers are seeking, and making sure that your own documents kind of mirror that and that you're using some industry words, you're using your skills, communication, organization. Some of those transferable skills are really important to make sure that you have those captured in your documents. And again, just as a reminder, on our website, we do have a resume writing guide and a cover letter writing guide under the resources for alumni section, as well as Vault, which is another great career resource that you can use. Don't be afraid to apply to jobs. So, if you're meeting most of those qualifications, even if it's not 100% of the qualifications, but if you're meeting the majority of them, don't be afraid to apply to those positions that you're interested in. Upload a resume to the job site. If you're able to, save your document as a PDF. That's recommended so it doesn't get wonky when the employer reads it. So many of the applicant tracking systems will let you upload a PDF. So don't be afraid to apply again. And then follow up, excuse me, follow up with employers. So if you've applied for a position and you haven't heard back, it's totally appropriate to follow up with an employer. Maybe 10 days or so has passed and you want to express your interest in the position again, inquire where they are in their process. That is totally appropriate.
The network is really so important. But before I get into this, I want to say for housekeeping is that we are using the Q&A box. So if you have any questions, please pop them into there and we will either answer them live right now or at the end, or we can get back to you at another time. But anyway, back to the job search, the network. The network is so huge because there are so many different people that you may know that may have information for you. And really, this can be a mutually beneficial relationship because it's about what you're bringing to the table, but they may be trying to find the perfect person to fit their team. And if they know you, if they understand your skill set, if they understand who you are, which means that you have a rapport that you've developed throughout your networking, it could be mutually beneficial. We always say that it's really important to attend as many things as humanly possible, of course, and we're very excited that things are going to be happening in person again. Like, I just want to cheer. We're so excited. Things are going to be happening in person. So anytime you have an opportunity to be face to face with someone, particularly our alumni, we strongly encourage that. It helps them to get to know you. And one thing that we always tell students Well, and now we tell just everybody is it is who you know, but there's a comma at the end of that statement. There's not a period. It is who you know, comma, but more importantly, it's who knows you. So as a part of your network, it's not just about collecting business cards. It's not just about being silent on webinars or information sessions or such like that. It's about introducing yourself. It's about helping people to understand who you are and what you're bringing to the table. We are also going to talk really quickly about LinkedIn, and then there's Scranton Connections, and it's scrantonconnections.com. This is our online mentoring program that you're going to have an opportunity to interact with alumni, interact with students, to find out what people are doing. There are groups inside of Scranton Connections where you can start conversations of people of like mind. Maybe you were an SJLA when you were on campus. There's a group for SGLA. Maybe you're interested in a law career. There's a group for lawyers and students and alumni. So that's Scranton Connections. And then in a couple of minutes, we're going to take you a little bit through LinkedIn and show you how powerful that can be. Practice interviewing is another thing for the job search, because you don't want to just think about interviewing when you have an interview tomorrow or when somebody has just invited you. You want to be a little bit more comfortable with it. What are you going to say when someone talks about your 5-year plan? What are you going to say when they ask you about your strengths and or your weaknesses? You know, are you going to say something like, I work too hard, I'm too dedicated to my career? Please, dear Heavenly Father, don't do that. Where we can help you with that. There's lots of different things that you can do. I mean, we can do just run through some questions over the phone with you. We can, next semester, I think we'll be able to do it in person. If you'd like to come to campus, we'll be able to Zoom now to go over some questions, but practice those interviewing. It also really helps you to feel more confident about what you're bringing to the table. As Lori said, don't be afraid to apply. Maybe we need to talk out that job that looks really interesting to you, and how are you going to align your transferable skills to what that position is. We've had the pleasure of working with some alumni who just really needed to make a change in their career path. And then maybe it was completely different, but you could still pull those transferable skills from past experiences that are going to be relatable to another field or another industry. So digging deep and tapping into your confidence, I think the practice interviewing, I think talking with your network, I think talking with us is a way to do that, to really remind yourself of why you're awesome. Well, first and foremost, you're a royal, so that's awesome. But what are the things that you have done? What are the skills you have earned and developed? What are the traits about you? What are the great things that people say when you leave the room? Those are the things that you need to remind yourself of and really tap into your confidence. I can tell you that confidence is extremely attractive in a candidate, not conceit, not, the other end of that spectrum, but confidence in who you are and what your talent and skills are. I think that's really important. So when you have hiring managers can read the lack of confidence in your cover letter, in your handshake, and in your tone. So that's why we're also going to go back to the practicing, right? So you're digging deep, you're looking for that confidence, and then we're going to help you find it and help you put it together in a way that is projecting, right? Because the most important thing is that they are getting the message that you want them to get. And that the message that you're trying to convey is actually landing to the person you're trying to convey it to. So I think we're going to take a minute and jump into LinkedIn. All right. So, Lori, do you want me to share first?
Sure.
All right. Maybe. All right. So you're looking at my screen and you're looking at my LinkedIn account. So first thing that we'll do, let me go into my view my profile. Get rid of that box. There are a couple of things that we really want to point out to you when you are vamping your, is vamping the right word? I don't know. That's what I wanted to say. When you are really looking to, beef up your LinkedIn account, there's a couple of things that we really want to make sure that you are paying attention to. So first and foremost is a picture. We do believe that a picture is really important. And I'm also a huge proponent for changing your picture on the regular, particularly if you're going to be meeting people in person. When they go to your LinkedIn account and it's a 10 or 15-year-old picture, and they see you, they're like, oh, wow, that's kind of shocking. Or I remember in my career, I've had to meet a lot of people in public places, and I know that they would look at my LinkedIn account and then they would be able to find me in the coffee shop or something. So that's just one thing. This background picture, which obviously this is the Dion Green and beautiful Scranton campus, but you can find any picture that really makes sense to you. Maybe it's the city you live in, maybe it's something that's really pertinent to the industry that you love, whatever it is. This is a fairly new feature in LinkedIn, and I encourage you to utilize that option as well. Now, when somebody Googles you, one of the reasons why we think it's really important to really add all of the different parts of your profile here on LinkedIn is if you have what they call like a superstar, or there's another word for it, Lori, I can't remember. It's like basically all the sections of your LinkedIn profile have been filled out in some capacity. LinkedIn is optimized so that if someone searches your name and you have a complete profile, that it's going to come at the top of the searches. It's really a beautiful thing that they've done in their engineering over the last decade. And another reason why we so heavily use LinkedIn, because it's just a much better platform than it was 10, 15 years ago. Oh, and I just have to take notice over here. Look at who's right up there at the top. Our new president, Father Marina, is right up there. We have just recently connected on LinkedIn. I'm pretty excited about that. So now we're connected so we can get to know each other. Anyway, back to this. So some of the things that we think are really important. If somebody's going to Google you, what they're going to see is they're going to see your picture, they're going to see your name, and then they're going to see this right here, which is the headline, right? So if you do not on purpose, and let me just hit the edit button. If you do not on purpose put a headline in there, it's going to automatically feed your most recent position, whatever that is. If it's student, if it's whatever the case may be, mine would then say director, like my current position does. So that's what it will default to. The next thing that we really want people to spend some time and think about is this is your summary. This is your about section. And you know what? This could go in so many different ways. It can be just very short. It can be a little bit more involved. I think mine is kind of long, to be honest. I look at it every once in a while and think, gosh, should I take some of that off? But then I don't. But anyway, so I mean, that's just something that gives a little bit more of an in-depth look of who you are and what you're proud of. Here's the thing to remember. Your resume is a great place to start in populating the information for your LinkedIn profile, but it's a whole lot more. That's why, I mean, I think everybody can imagine that I would say, we're never going to have a paragraph, right, in your resume. We would say that would be terrible. So we're not going to have a paragraph in your resume, but we can have a paragraph on your LinkedIn profile. Another thing that you'll see as you kind of go down into your experiences, another great thing about LinkedIn is that you can add media. You can add things that you've written. You can add all sorts of information about who you are and what you bring to the table. The next thing that we wanted to talk about, actually, I think, is Lori there? Lori was going to go through and show you her profile also. But before she does that, let me go ahead and show you about doing searches. All right, so here we are at the University of Scranton. So one of the quick, easy ways to find our friends with the University of Scranton is to go to the University of Scranton. And then here, click on our alumni. Now, when you click on our alumni, you can see all sorts of different things. And that's what this search is going to be. I mean, look at that. We have more than 34,000 people registered with the University of Scranton on LinkedIn. You can get into a much more in-depth search about where they are, where they are, the geography of them. And it's a really nice way to find out, like, who should I connect to? So that is LinkedIn. That is doing a quick search of alumni. And I think we may have lost Lori, who had the PowerPoint. So let me just stop sharing really quickly. Yes, Lori just texted me. She just lost power. And because she had the PowerPoint presentation, no big deal. I think we'll know for the future that I should have it up as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about the job search. I remember the PowerPoint presentation. So the next thing that we want to talk about was the hidden and your typical job market, right? So your typical job market are where you're going to go to the sites that we think are really most important, and they are LinkedIn, which LinkedIn is a wonderful source for searching for jobs and internships and not just your network. So LinkedIn is one that we truly push out there and encourage people to use. I will tell you one reason why I like LinkedIn so much is because you put in certain skills about yourself based on your experiences. And then when those skills are in and an organization posts jobs, it automatically matches you if the skills are there, and it will push you to those employers and you will pop up in their search. If you have it on your profile that you are open to opportunities. So that's what, something that I think you can keep in mind. So that's LinkedIn. The next one is Indeed. All right. I really like Indeed a lot. It's not the monster and the career builder of, 10, 15 years ago, where you would get spammed constantly with all sorts of opportunities that you may not in any way, shape, or form be interested in. What you can do is you can set up a profile, you can set up certain things or geographies that you would be interested in hearing about. And then you might get, I think you can set it up if you get a daily email from them or if you get a weekly email from them that will just show you different opportunities that they've matched based on your profile. The next one is Handshake. Handshake is our personal career service management platform that we use. So all of the opportunities that come to the University of Scranton, we put them into Handshake. The good thing about Handshake is that all of the employers that are in there have what's called a trust score. If they have under a 79 or under trust score, it's on a scale of 0 to 100, then what we do is we send them a questionnaire. If they answer the questionnaire to our liking, then we will allow them to come in and post. So it's kind of a gatekeeper, if you will, to ensure that we are comfortable with the quality of employers and the quality of opportunities that they're going to bring to our students and alumni. So we've got LinkedIn, we've got Indeed, and we've got Handshake. Those are the top ones that we recommend on a regular basis. Now, are there other sites? Absolutely. But those are the ones that we use regularly and we're comfortable endorsing. Are the other ones bad? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying those are the three that we like and that we use all the time. The next, so that's your typical job market. What's called the hidden job market is the job market that you learn about through your network. So again, this is why it's so important for you to have a network, for you to be communicating with people in your network to learn about the different opportunities that are available. And that's my granddaughter. So this is where, it's people who know you, know your skills, know what you're all about. And when they have an opportunity available, you're in their mind and they're saying, oh gosh, Joe Smith would be perfect for this job. And they may reach out via email and invite you to apply to the position. So there's the typical job market and there's the hidden job market. And you're ready for either of them if you have networked, if you have vamped up your resume, focusing on your transferable skills that may be in a very different industry, but applicable to the industry that you're applying for. All right, we do have a question that came in. Oh, so when we're talking about resumes, because as I said, I would probably never encourage anybody to have a paragraph on their resume. But many times you'll see resumes that have a professional summary or a paragraph or an about section, if you will, kind of like the LinkedIn account. And I do see those, and sometimes they work. I typically, it really depends on the industry. If there's an industry that is more creative, that is more, well, I'm just going to say less rigid, then one of those would be okay. But many times, particularly if you're a more experienced alum, what I like to see at the top of a resume is a skills section. So a 2 or 3 column bulleted list that's going to focus very specifically on skills and skills that are transferable to the position that you're applying for. So that's a skills list that can change all the time. So that is what I could remember of our PowerPoint slides. The hidden job market, our LinkedIn, really kind of finding your confidence, practicing your interview, because we know that you may not have interviewed. Well, some people have come to us and said that they've never interviewed. They got their first position by an introduction of somebody or this, that, or the other thing. And so they never formally interviewed. So now here they are a few years or several years out of college, and all of a sudden they have to go for an interview. Well, what's that all about? Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you really think about that, to think about your experiences and what you may want to say about your experiences that are going to align you for the position that you are applying with. Yep, skills is key, we say in the Q&A box. Got that too. Then awesome. Then you're definitely on the right track. And everything that we talk about is really so unique to each person. So we can give you all of these general ideas and things to do, but it really is about your unique experience and your unique path and really where you want to see yourself. So I strongly encourage everybody to reach out to a member of the career team. Lori and I, the two of us, focus on working with alumni the most, but certainly welcome you to meet with anybody as a member of the team so that we can really talk to you about what your circumstances are and how we can be of most help to you. The job search is a crazy thing. It's a really crazy thing. Oh, and has anybody ever told you all that finding a job is a full-time job, right? It really can be, mostly because we like to tell you that you need to stay organized. So, a good old Excel sheet, or maybe it's a legal pad, I don't know, of keeping track of who you talked to and what information you sent them and what date did you send it to them. Because what we want you to do is within 10 business days of applying, and we hope that you have notified your network, your alumni who have worked at that organization, that within 10 business days, you're reaching out to them and saying, I'm very interested in this. I'm enthusiastically applying, however you want to say it. And I'm really interested in where you are in the process, right? So we're just asking them where they are in the process, if the position is still open. Basically, what we're asking without actually saying the words is, am I still a candidate in this position? We have a question in the Q&A box. What are my thoughts on LinkedIn Premium? They really push their monthly service all the time. Absolutely, 100% they do. And I do have an opinion about that. My opinion is this. When if I were in the job search right now, I would probably get premium for 30 days. Now, what you have to do is you have to give them a credit card. And if you don't cancel it, it's going to be automatically renewed. So I would put a reminder on my calendar and the day before to say cancel. But when you are in there for premium in that 30 days, I would use it for all it's worth. You can send in mail, you can track a little bit better of who is seeing your profile. So, you know what, in all of my years in doing career development, I have probably done the premium for 2 months total. It really powers, the basic one powers everything I need it for. So I haven't seen the need for it, but if I was really, knee deep in the job search process, I might power it on for 1 month, but cancel it after that 30 days. That's just my opinion. And see what it's worth, in 30 days. And if it's fantastic, right, and you want to keep going, but I think it's like $40 a month that will automatically go onto your credit card if you don't cancel it. So maybe give it a shot, but it does everything I need it to do without the premium service. What other kind of questions do you have? I do apologize. We are getting rain, and Lori is getting a storm down her way, so she just lost power, which is why she got kicked off. She's really wonderful. I wish she was here with us, but I'm sorry about that. Just if anybody has any additional questions, I am happy to answer them. But otherwise, what I will leave you with is reach out to us. We are careers@scranton.edu. That's our email. Or you can definitely find our individual emails on the website, which is scranton.edu/careers. And much of the information that we give out in these workshops, you can find right on the website. Over on the right margin, you're going to see resources for, and then you'll see undergraduates, graduates, and alumni. You're going to see all sorts of resume templates, cover letter templates, and different ideas of where to go or what to do. We've got also electronic resources, so websites that might be helpful. But other than that, we'd also just really like to talk to you, so you can get in touch with us specifically. Oh, these are some good questions. Someone had a contact that sent their resume to a corporate recruiter. How should I follow up? Well, you may not need to follow up at all. They may keep you. Well, let's think about this. So maybe you want to reach out to them via email and let them know that you're aware that they have your resume, and if they have any opportunities that seem to match your profile, that they can get in touch with you. But otherwise, if they have your information, that's exactly what they're going to do anyway. But you could shoot them an email to indicate your interest. That's one thing I would do. The recording of this presentation will be sent to you via email. All right, let's see. What are the best ways to find recruiters, headhunters in a specific industry? The professional organizations within the industry are a great place to start. Conferences, whether they're online or in person, are a really great place to find them. And it really depends on the industry. But really, professional organizations are a really great place to find headhunters, recruiters. But you know what, LinkedIn too is where they're going to find you. In all honesty, in the last 2 years, I have been contacted by headhunters maybe 5 times. And I think it's because I have a complete profile. You have a very complete skills list that they're aware of. And they go by your titles, they go by your skills, and then they reach out to you and say, here's positions that might be aligned with your experience. And someone is considering an MBA with Scranton. Yay, I think that's a great idea. Or continuing your MBA. Yes, I think that's a wonderful idea. And what are my thoughts on the market for alumni students? The market is very active right now across the board. Um, this time last year, I would not have said the same thing. But the market is very, very busy. The number of opportunities we're seeing for experienced hires and the entry level new grads is really huge. If you go into LinkedIn, if you go onto Handshake or Indeed, you're just going to see how many different opportunities they are. And then with some working experience with an MBA, that's a pretty good candidate for a lot of different things. Any advice for a person making a career change? Yes, happy. You know what? Reach out to Marge Gleason in Alumni, and we will even send you a link to the webinar. Our second in the workshop series was making a career change. And I think that we have some really great tips in things to consider and things to work toward. If you are thinking about making a change, particularly if it's a drastic change, like we're saying from education into the private sector, so reach out to Marge Gleason, shoot her an email, and we can definitely get you the recording of that workshop, which was very specifically making a career change. So we're happy to help. And then reach out to one of us. We can meet one-on-one and talk to you about, oh, thanks, Marge. Right in the chat, she put the link to the web page where all of the webinars are housed. So you can find it right there. Thank you, Marge. Well, really happy that you spent this time with me and Lori. She thanks you too. I know it in her heart because she's amazing. So we're so grateful that you were here. And we always say, once a royal, always a royal. And that's what this is all about. If we can serve you in any way, shape, or form, that's what we're here for. And that's really what makes us happy. So reach out, let us know what's going on with you, and we'll be as helpful as humanly possible. So that's all. Have a wonderful night. And if it's raining where you are, stay dry.